So we're witnessing something very, very interesting here. There's a lot of black Republicans who have now officially turned on Donald Trump, but also Ron DeSantis. Fascinating dynamic. We actually saw this happen, something similar, with Michael Steele, who was the former head of the RNC, black Republican. And after a while, he was just, I can't do it anymore. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. And maybe it's because they've had personal experiences growing up where they realize certain things related to race issues, even though politically they may be conservative. They might want low taxes, they might want deregulation, but you cross certain lines and they're not buying it. Okay, so first let's go to this guy, Will Hurd, who announced he's running for president. He's a former U.S. representative from Texas. By the way, I honestly didn't even know this guy was running until like yesterday. So I missed it. But here we go. Will Hurd, this guy's running for president. Why? Not exactly sure. Is he trying to get a book deal down the road? Is he trying to launch himself into a media career? Is he trying to fail this time so he could win next time? I don't know. Anyway, so he goes to a Republican event in Iowa on the campaign trail here. This is an event that Trump spoke at. And man, he doesn't hold back. He lets it all hang out. Listen to this.
It's been 20 years since a Republican has won the popular vote on a national level.
It's true.
We lost the House in 2018. We lost the White House and the Senate in 2020. A red wave didn't materialize in 2022 when it should. We all know how bad Joe Biden's numbers are. He can be beat. This can be an opportunity to have conservative leadership for 16 years. I'm not talking about winning one election. I'm talking about a generation of this. And the reason Donald Trump lost the election in 2020 is he failed to grow the GOP brand in areas like women with a college degree in the suburbs, black and brown communities, and people under the age of 35. We need leaders who did like your Governor Reynolds, who went to places that people didn't expect, and that's how y'all turned red.
Okay, they're with him so far, right?
One of the things we need in our elected leaders, for them to tell the truth, even if it's unpopular. Donald Trump is not running for president to make America great again. Donald Trump is not running for president to represent the people that voted for him in 2016 and 2020. Donald Trump is running to stay out of prison. And if we elect... I know. Listen, I know the truth. The truth is hard. But if we elect Donald Trump, we are willingly giving Joe Biden 4 more years in the White House, and America can't handle that. God bless you, and God bless America.
Oh. Kind of ballsy. I don't know if you heard it, but somebody screamed, "Go home, this loser." And they jeered him at a couple points. Woo! This is the same. Trump spoke at this event too, and there's a lot of Trump sycophants in that audience there, but he was leaning into it. He's like, look, he didn't grow the party. We haven't won the popular vote in 20 years. Basically, he's running to keep his ass out of prison, which there might be some truth to that. There's some truth to that. I don't think that's the whole reason he's running. He definitely wants to be president again. Not just to give himself immunity, but also to do horrible, terrible things. But man, that is just as aggressive as Chris Christie's gone after Donald Trump. And this is the only other person I've seen really lean into it as much as he did. So that was no holds barred. Again, I don't know what this guy's angle is. Maybe he's naive enough to think he can win. Maybe he's just trying to set up a future run. Maybe he's trying to write a book. Maybe he's trying to get in with the anti-Trump liberal media. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to get a show in media. I don't know. But either way, he's not holding back. Now, this one I think is even more interesting, though. another black Republican here, this time going after DeSantis. Quote, "You've gone too far. Stop." Republican slams DeSantis for attacks on black GOP lawmakers while defending controversial curriculum. Republican Congressman John James tore into Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and his 2024 presidential campaign Friday for attacking black Republican lawmakers who criticized Florida's controversial new Black history curriculum. The curriculum includes the line that students should be taught how, quote, slaves developed skills which, in some instances, could be applied for their personal benefit. DeSantis has been engaged in a tense online feud with Representative Byron Donalds, who slammed the curriculum this week. Donalds, a pro-Trump conservative, said on Wednesday that the part of the curriculum that features the personal benefits of slavery is wrong and needs to be adjusted. Senator Tim Scott, the only black Republican member of the U.S. Senate, slammed DeSantis and argued that there was no silver lining to slavery after the Florida governor defended the curriculum. Now, by the way, Greg Gutfeld on Fox News also shoved his foot directly in his mouth because he goes out there and said something along the lines of, well, there was even some silver lining to, like, the Holocaust. You know, I don't know what he said, but maybe something along the lines of, you know, Jews, they learned how to be resilient in the face of the Holocaust. Oh, man, just stop. DeSantis hit back saying, quote, part of the reason our country has struggled is because D.C. Republicans all too often accept false narratives, accept lies that are perpetrated by the left, and to accept the lie that Kamala Harris has been perpetrating, even when that has been debunked, that's not the way you do it. Okay, so let's address this. What he's referring to is that Kamala called him out over this too. And so now he's tried to make it into a right-left issue, a Democrat-Republican issue, where it's like, well, if you disagree with me, you agree with Kamala Harris, and so you're like doing Democratic talking points. But, okay, Ron, the problem with that is it's a dumb curriculum, okay? And we all know why they do it. Come on. These guys are all drunk on American exceptionalism, and when you're drunk on that, what you do is you play up what you view as the good parts of America, and you look at even the atrocities and the bad parts of America. What you do is you nuance troll, and you say, actually, it's more complicated and complex and nuanced when we do really bad things. It doesn't count as just evil or wrong or bad. Actually, there were, some things that were actually kind of good that came out of it, and if you really look at it, is it really as bad as all the Democrats and liberals say? No, it's not. It's a lot more nuanced and complicated. Even when it's bad, it's not as bad. Imagine giving this sort of leeway to one of our official state enemies. Imagine nuanced trolling over Iran and whatever negative things they did. It'd be like, well, there were good things that came out when they did that. It's just, we would never grant it to our enemies. We only grant it to ourselves and our allies. And it stems from that American exceptionalism. But when you're dealing with black Republicans, yes, they may be Republicans. Yes, they may want lower taxes and deregulation, and they may be conservative on social issues, etc. But they don't want you to basically rewrite the history books when it comes to slavery to try to put a little smiley face over it and act like it wasn't as terrible as people say. It was. So James comes out, John James, and he defends both Tim Scott and Byron Donalds, the other black Republicans. He says, this is tweeted at Ron DeSantis. Number one, slavery was not CTE. Nothing about that 400 years of evil was a net benefit to my ancestors. Number two, there are only 5 black Republicans in Congress, and you're attacking 2 of them. My brother in Christ, if you find yourself in a deep hole, put the shovel down. You are now so far from the party of Lincoln that your education board is rewriting history and you're personally attacking conservatives like Tim Scott and Byron Donalds on the topic of slavery. You've gone too far. Stop. Anytime you're in a scenario where you're saying, well, look, slavery was really, really bad, but stop. It's like that famous drill tweet of like, under no circumstances do you have to hand it to Al-Qaeda or whatever. It's like, well, you got to hand it. No. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. This is one of those situations. It's one of those situations, man. And looks like the black Republicans have drawn a line. And understand, it's not even like this is something that happened in a vacuum, right? He also banned AP African American Studies. And then he hid behind, well, we're only doing it because they're teaching CRT, and we think CRT is like racist against white people, and it's changing what history really is. Okay, if you really had a problem with the particulars of the AP African American History class. Then clean up some particulars. But to get rid of the class entirely, we see through that. We know what's going on here. And then this comes after that. We see through it. We see through it. This is the same kind of mindset that they're going to try to put in history books, about the Trail of Tears and the Native American genocide. They're going to try to soften that. Was it really that? It was really a genocide? Isn't it a lot more nuanced and complicated? Hey, this is one of the facts they love to bring up. The Native American tribes were fighting each other like crazy even before white people came here. It's like, why would you highlight those things? You know why they're highlighting those things. It's more nuanced. It's more complicated. It's more complex. It's not just really bad thing, really good thing. It's not like that. It's not like that. It's when we do bad things, it's not really bad. It's not bad. And black conservatives are not buying it, man. They are not buying it. And look, this is part and parcel of one of the many reasons DeSantis has really lost ground in the polls. Because he was doing very well after the midterms when he was like tied with Trump. He was doing very well with like college-educated Republicans was one of those groups. And now they're all fleeing him at 1,000 miles an hour. And what's DeSantis doing? He's just doing full-on culture war, full-on social conservatism, and just throw red meat to the base. Signed a 6-week abortion ban, which is very, very unpopular. So now not only is it not working in the primary, you're making it almost impossible for you to win in a general. It's really embarrassing, but good for these conservatives, standing up on an issue where they draw a line. I just wish there were other issues that maybe it didn't personally impact them as much where they could still say, hey, that's BS too. Hey, the way you're treating gay people or trans people, that's BS too. But as per usual with many people on the right, it's like, until it impacts me directly, when it's about my history or my ancestry, my people, I'm not going to say anything until you cross that line when it comes to me. It's like, okay, I'm happy you spoke out, but, speak out on some other issues too, because it's just as bad for a lot of these other minority communities who are under Ron DeSantis' boot as well. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.